Today, I'm gonna show you how to make a simple 2-ingredient chocolate truffle. Now, I'm a huge chocoholic, and this thing looked easy enough for me, although I have to say that I'm a bit skeptical on how it'll actually taste. So let's go ahead and get started. To start off, we're gonna need 2 ingredients, cocoa powder and condensed milk. I have to say that this is probably gonna be one of the easiest recipes that I'll try. And in the end, if it doesn't come out perfectly, at least I didn't have to waste a ton of money on ingredients that'll just sit in the back of my pantry for the next 2 years. I measured out about 50 grams of cocoa powder and about 100 grams of condensed milk. And if you happen to be amazed by my condensed milk in a tube, you're not the only one. I posted my Vietnamese egg dalgona coffee recipe over on Reddit, and I had a bunch of replies asking me where to buy condensed milk in a tube. Sounds like $1 million idea in the making. Anyway, I microwaved the condensed milk for about 30 seconds and then poured it into a large mixing bowl. After that, I sifted about 1/3 of the cocoa powder into the condensed milk and I mixed it all together. Now, I should have done this part a lot quicker than it actually took me, because by the time I got the final third of the cocoa powder in there, the thing had hardened into some kind of delicious concrete. Now, I tried to use a plastic glove and mix the whole thing by hand, but that was just a waste of time. I also tried setting the mixing bowl on top of some warm water, hoping that it would soften as it warmed up, but it didn't. It just fought back like some kind of dessert-based sentient life form. Eventually, I was able to get all of it mixed together and scrape it out of the bowl onto some plastic wrap. Now, after wrapping it and kind of shaping it together, I put it in the fridge for an hour to set. After taking it out of the fridge, I thought it would be best to cut this whole thing into 6 pieces, but it turns out that 6 pieces would have been way too big. So I cut them into 12. And to be honest, I think I could have cut these a little bit smaller, only because the nut to chocolate ratio would have been much better balanced, but we'll get to that soon. I shaped each piece into a rounded square by hand, and Mrs. Eats jumped in and she helped out too. Now, this process was really fun because it kind of brought back childhood memories of mixing dirt and water together and shaping it into random stuff. After making a square, I pressed an almond into the center and rolled the truffle into some cocoa powder. I thought it would look nice if I dusted the tops with cocoa powder as well, but it just kind of hides the almond and just looks messy in the end. So after cranking out a few of these, we are done. They have a really rustic feel to them, which I think gives them some charm. And the next time I make this, I'd like to get perfectly rounded squares out of them, but that would probably require some kind of mold or something. Anyway, let's go ahead and give these a try. All right, so these came out a lot better than I was expecting, and I went ahead and just sort of decoratively arranged them onto this little slab here. And they look really nice, actually. Now, as I was shaping it, I kind of thought that they looked a little too rustic, a little too homemade, but you know, when it's set out like this, it actually looks quite nice. So let's go ahead and give that a try. Now, oops, they still feel pretty firm. Nice, and the smell is amazing, chocolatey, so nice. I am really surprised at how well these came together. I mean, just 2 ingredients, cocoa powder and condensed milk, and you get something that's just so rich, so chocolatey. I mean, you're not gonna be able to control how sweet it is, so it's actually a little sweeter than I like them. But I think the cocoa powder on it gives it a nice bit of darkness. And it has a nice kind of chewy texture, very much like a truffle. It's not very fudgy, but it has kind of a bounce to it. And to be honest, there is a little more chocolate in these than I like. The balance of nuts to chocolate ratio is a little off. It's a little heavier on the chocolate side. So ideally, I would have made these just a little bit smaller in the beginning, but they're still really good. You definitely have to try and make this at home because it's so easy and it came together extremely quickly. All right, so that's gonna do it here for us today, guys. If you enjoyed this video, then make sure to give it a like and make sure you subscribe and hit that little notification bell because we got a lot more food videos coming to you soon.